What's up, my guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Report Card. I'm your host, Cody, and today we're going to be grading the August 10th episode of AEW Dynamite, and holy shnikey, do we have a lot to look forward to. We had not one, not two, but three huge returns on this episode tonight, and not only did we start off with a Coffin match, but we ended with two title matches on the line. Now, as we're leading up to All Out, we're going to have a lot to unfold. So, hey, without further ado, buckle up your seatbelts, and let's get to grading.
In our opening match, we have Darby Allin taking on Brody King in a coffin match where, yes, the winner has to throw their opponent into a coffin and then slam the lid shut on top of them. And I tell you what, I turned on AEW today, back from my vacation, just ready to watch some good old wrestling, and not even a minute in, you got Darby attacking a grown-ass man with a skateboard that was covered in thumbtacks. So, yeah, that's what kind of match this was. Apparently, the now bloody Brody King wasn't even done causing harm to himself, as he then climbed up on the middle ropes, but he missed on the frog splash, which sent him crashing through a table. Now, just as Darby went to capitalize, the lights go out. And then, boom, the entire House of Black was attacking Darby from the ringside. They then propped Darby up against the table, allowing Brody's big ass to hit him with a cannonball, which just annihilated him through that table. Then Buddy goes to grab the coffin, but as he opens it, by God, it's Sting! And if you know one thing about Sting, it's that he's going to bring the bat with him, damn it. Now he goes on to lay out all of the House of Black, and then he gets face to face with Malachi, and he just throws him the bat. So Malachi picks it up. However, instead of using it, he just drops it and then walks off. Now, Sting ain't one to let that slide, as he was quick to follow him up the ramp. And one thing to notice about Sting is that this face paint was black around the eye that Malachi spit the mist into. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Back to the match. We have Darby Allin in control. He then acquired Brody King's chain, and he started choking that sumbitch out with it. And I mean, he choked him out so hard, Brody fell off the apron, into the coffin, the lid closed, which, yes, allowed Darby Allin to get the win over the Giant.
What a physical match. Like, that's getting an A-. Not only the physicality, but with Sting popping up out of the coffin, then do his epic stare down with Malachi, and the finish was one that I don't think anybody could have seen happening. What a great match overall, and it was a great segue into our next match, which is the Tornado Tag Team match. As you have Rouge teaming up with Andrade, taking on the high-flying Lucha Brothers. Now, the crazy thing about these tornado tag matches is that there is no tagging in and out, as all four guys are legal for the entire match. So yeah, it's about as crazy as it sounds. And it wasn't long until we had Rey Fenix just flying around like a madman. Well, that was until Andrade drop kicked his ass out of midair. Then it was Andrade and Rouge who took to the skies, as they both flew over the top rope, laying waste to both members of the Lucha Bros. We returned from the break, and the brothers of Lucha were just going crazy, I tell you what. Then it was back and forth between both teams, as all four guys were moving quicker than a hiccup. Then it was Penta's time to shine. First, it's Penta with his roll-up cutter. He strikes again with his destroyer on the apron. Now, how does Rouge answer to his offense, you might ask? He grabbed Penta's mask and tied that sumbitch up to the ropes. Then, as Rouge hit his DDT on Rey, Penta did the unthinkable in Lucha culture, as he ditched his mask, exposing his face to save his brother from being pinned. His assistant tried to toss him an extra mask, but as soon as he went to grab it, Andrade stepped on it, stopped him from getting it, and threw it into the stands. With Penta now out of the equation, Rouge hit Rey with his patented dropkick in the corner, then Andrade followed it up with his hammerlock DDT, and wow, they get the 1-2-3 over the former tag team champs. And what can I say? That's also getting an A-. Like, two fantastic matches to start us off tonight on AEW, and I couldn't call the finish to either one. We then moved to a backstage segment where the Young Bucks are giving a long overdue apology to their former friend Hangman Page. They even invite him to be their partner in the upcoming Trios tournament. Page politely declines, as he's going to have the backs of who's had his back in the past year in the Dark Order, unlike the Young Bucks have. The Bucks walk off, and I don't know, something tells me that this isn't over, brother. Next up, you got LuchaSaurus taking on Anthony Henry? First off, I hope you didn't blink, because LuchaSaurus got the 1-2-3 rather quickly. And second off, whoever the hell Anthony Henry is, I'm praying for you, because that boy has a bracelet wrapped around his wrist in a hospital in the greater Minneapolis area. But afterwards, we cut to Christian, who's cutting a promo backstage, when all of a sudden, Jungle Boy comes flying out of nowhere, but
Security was there to prevent anything fun from happening. Those bastards.
I'ma slap a C on this. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. I do feel like nothing really evolved from the storyline this week. However, I am glad that they're not doing the same thing week after week. Because last week, you had Christian versus Matt Hardy leading up to this. And then this week, you got Lucha in a squash match leading up to some drama. So I am glad that they are keeping it fresh.
Next up is Jay Lethal, Sonjay Dutton, and the 7'4" Satnam Singh in the ring. Lethal gets on the mic and demands that Wardlow gives him another shot at his TNT title. So Wardlow comes out, accepts his challenge, and then lets him know that he's coming down to open the can of whoop ass on all three of them before he can make it down the ramp. His former Pinnacle teammates, FTR, made the return with all 47 of their championship belts, might I add, to even the odds. As Lethal and his cronies quickly escape, Lethal tried to sneak back in the ring, but all he got was a big rig, courtesy of FTR for his worries, and then the three got sent on their way.
For that there segment, I'm going to give it a C-. Now, the Wardlow FTR alliance is dope, I'm not going to lie. However, at one point, it looked like Dutton was going to grab something from under the ring, but I guess it wasn't there, and he just kind of awkwardly walked off. I know that isn't his fault, obviously, but that delay killed all the momentum that Wardlow and FTR had going for him at that point. Speaking of momentum, next up, fresh off of his FTW loss and being betrayed by his former teammate and friend, Powerhouse Hobbs, it looks like the Ricky Starks face turn is in full swing. Tonight, he's taking on Aaron Soto, and this match came into fruition by Starks turning down an alliance with the Factory, so they sent their boy Soto out to handle him. No shocker, the Factory got involved early, which gave Soto an upper hand, but with the crowd 100% behind Starks, he was able to heat up. After missing with his Rochambeau, Starks was able to hit the ropes and then hit Soto with his spear to get the 1, 2, 3. After the match, the Factory failed to jump Starks miserably as he escaped through the crowd, which pissed off Powerhouse Hobbs, who happened to be watching the match backstage. And we got to keep all eyes on this scenario moving forward. I mean, this match was okay for what it was. I'm going to give it a C+. Moving forward, though, this Starks face turn will be one for the ages if done right. Mark my words.
We then moved backstage where after a heated segment between Billy Gunn and his sons, Malcolm Bivens of all people tried to intervene before he was shut down by Mr. Ass himself. Then they get interrupted again as Danhausen appears and challenges both of the Ass Boys to a tag team match. Well, he needs a partner, don't he? Remember, we got 3 returns tonight. Number 2 being Eric Redbeard, FKA Eric Rowan, is going to be Danhausen's tag team partner this Friday on Rampage. But remember, there's 3 returns tonight, so we still got 1 more. And also remember, we're ending the night with 2 title matches. And first up, you got Madison Rayne challenging for the TBS Championship against the undefeated champ, Jade Cargill. After a small flurry from the challenger, Jade was able to gather herself and answer with a spear. Rayne didn't go down quietly though, as she came back with a couple of neck breakers. Kiera Hogan then tried to get involved, but she inadvertently got hit with a thrust kick from her girl Jade. However, that was enough of a distraction because that led to Cargill hitting Jaded on Rayne and getting the 1, 2, 3. The drama was after the match though, because Athena, who was in disguise, snuck up and she actually got the better of Jade, which we don't see often. Now Jade did escape quickly courtesy of Miss Hogan, but she left her belt behind, which Athena found and held high over her head. And if you're a wrestling fan, you know what that means. That means I want the smoke.
So I'm going to slap a C+ on that, and you can like Jade Cargill or not, but you can't deny that her undefeated streak brings a presence into every match that you can't ignore. Even if it's one like tonight where we already knew she was going to win from the jump. But hey, as y'all know, we got 2 championship matches. We got to move on to the next one because you got Chris Jericho challenging for the interim AEW championship against Jon Moxley. Jericho actually came out to the ring in his old Lionheart theme, which I don't think anybody has heard since 1996, and that got the crowd going. Next thing you know, the champ's music hit, and brother, I tell you what, there's a big match feel coming into this, as this is Jericho's long-awaited rematch for the AEW title that he lost to Moxley over 2 years ago. Now, the first oh shit moment of this match was when Jericho grabbed Moxley's earring and he ripped that son bitch right out of his ear. This left Jericho in control through the commercial break, and then the Lionheart hit the ropes and hit the Lion Salt, but Moxley was able to counter with the suplex. Jericho answers with one of his own. It's Jericho again, this time with a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Jericho then draped Moxley's knee around the ring post and applied the figure 4 until the 5 count broke it. Then it's Jericho again, this time with the walls, which lasted forever, but somehow Moxley reached the ropes. He gets up, and after an all-out brawl between the two, Jericho goes on to remove not one, but 2 of the turnbuckles. While the ref was busy with handling all that, Sammy Guevara appears, and he threw Jericho his bat, and he proceeded to lay Moxley out with it. The ref turns around, makes the count, but again, somehow Mox kicks out at 2.99. Jericho does a smart thing and decides to keep his foot on the gas pedal as he sent Moxley flying into the exposed turnbuckle, and then boom, he hits the Judas effect that no one has ever kicked out of until now. Holy shit. As Jericho goes on and tries to cheat again, Mox returned the favor and sent him now into the exposed turnbuckle and applied the Bulldog. Jericho countered all that, was able to hit the Lion Tamer. However, it wasn't enough. After Mox broke out of the Lion Tamer, he applied the Bulldog yet again, this time throwing in the legs, the grapevine, and Jericho had no other choice but to tap, allowing Moxley to retain his interim AEW title. After the match, Guevara returned, this time with Jake Hager, and they go to lay waste to Moxley, and just like JR said, it's like Muskogee on a Friday night. That led to both sides sending all of their goons down, leading to another all-out brawl. With Jericho's crew having the numbers advantage, they go to lay out the Blackpool Combat Club, and then Jericho picks up the AEW title. They had Moxley set up, and he was about to lay him out with it, but before he could do that, he returned. He's back. By God, he's back. The AEW champ. CM Punk is back from injury, and he runs down and he saves the day for Moxley. But don't forget, he hasn't ever relinquished his title when he was injured, so him and the interim champ Moxley will have to settle this when the time comes. That match and everything else was just great. Like, I'm giving that an A. Chris Jericho is over 50 years old, still putting on bangers like that. And then, not only that, but we get the return of CM Punk, and it's looking like him and Moxley are going to unify those titles at All Out. If you mad about that, you need to go check your pulse, my guy, because I don't think you're living. But hey, what an episode of Dynamite. I told you, I done told you. But y'all know the drill. We got all the grades in. Now let's take a look at the report card. After tallying everything up, we came out with a final letter grade of a B-. That's right, an 83%. Like, sheesh, what an episode. Those first 2 matches and that main event, plus all the returns, like, y'all can't tell me that wasn't a slapper. But hey, we've come yet again to another end of the Wrestling Report Card. I'm your host, Cody, and I really want to thank everybody that does tune in. If you haven't already, please like, comment, or maybe hit me with a subscription. If not, I'm still going to rock with you. But other than that, I hope everybody stays safe and have a nice day.